we draw the lines in the box, and we invite feminine into that space.
Correct. I can speak to the dynamics of masculine and feminine, and I associate that because we all oscillate between the divine and all of us.
Right.
It's more accurate even sometimes to look at the character type on top of that. And what I heard in Lewis saying, there can be a more beta masculine man grounded to a context that until boundaries are met, he can let an assertive or alpha character, feminine woman do all that, and she still wants to be contained when it brushes up into that.
Right.
As long as they maintain that polarity.
Right.
The second that her masculine wants to reside or relax, flow into feminine, if his masculine's not present in those moments, in those instances,
right,
then the polarity's
absolutely
gone and it's a shitstorm regardless. So it's so interesting because in today's society, it's easily doable because it's money, provisions. Like, can we raise the kids? It's like the necessities of life are almost autopilot. And even to the conversation you guys have been into, something that's been standing out for me is that nowadays that masculine looks so different. When it was just a village, when it was primitive, instinctual, okay, you're going to be this, that, and the other. Hell, going back 30 years, coming up, black men, you were either going to be an athlete, you were going to be or an entertainer. And so even to what you're talking about in the context, we are a product of that. Two men with technologies and background, psychology, all these different areas that, to what Lewis was saying, creation and discovery. Y'all bounce in and out of a lot of conversations that had depth for me. I saw discovery of, you are discovering, it's not that it didn't exist, but you discovered, oh, this is a way a man can be, and like character traits you can take in. And at the same time, a creation of that accumulates into the individual expression, masculine expression. This is who I am going to be, that is created. There is a Lewis, there is a Vidal, there is a Dwayne. The big global aspect, I would say, why that polarity is becoming so confusing is because in a safe, behind the wall, Western modern culture society, women can be in their masculine or straight up into the feminism conversation where everything is so equal, because there are very few in between high value targets, games being played. I think to that level, right, we touch in on several levels. If there's a conversation for the safety of, I love it, Pac had a lyric about actually being gangsters and not pretending to play gangsters. Like, if you really want to step into a world of something, take on the society around you, go to war for something, and something that changes and moves life. Not that it needs to be so violent in context. What that looks like today, that masculine actually expanding, where your default is something that feminine is going to follow, choose to step into a world of, it's not just money, it's not just those provisions, provisioning the world that, is it a world where cancer is still a thing? Is it a world where global warming and climate change is a thing? Is it a world where masculine and feminine energies aren't understood? Psychology of manhood, whatever it is that you forward and purpose, if you decide to lead into with passion and purpose and carve any kind of path. You can be the number one insurance person, you can be the number one coach, like whatever your vision in mind, the number one gamer, whatever. It is crafting another branch of life, of humanity that's expanding. It can be the silliest shit from the top ranked, longest toenails, like whatever that's your passion and purpose of life. And then there's the bigger things that serve humanity, that change how the world works. And older conversations before, these are now more micro conversations, feminine conversations, gender roles, household roles, all these micro feminine conversations to be managed. The bigger macro, how humanity expands, how we started the conversation, expansion as a race, as a species, on a planet. Like the bigger how this whole fucking matrix game, actual shit that we're living inside of is operating, that's a level of masculine expansion that is screeched to a halt overall, in my eyes. The view of actual, even if we come to 50 years ago, if there were world wars going on, there was something, the town at that point, no longer a village, the town, you're getting drafted, you're going to a military, or you've got a stance on how, we need to take care of the communism, we need to take care of the Nazis, whatever the world purpose is. Nowadays, from NFT to technology to, all the luxuries and amenities the world of feminine you can have access to, it's especially without guidance, and what we're talking to, right, one of my conversations, rite of passage, direction. if there is no your father did this and there's a direction and path, if your father was just paying bills, or if your father was more into his feminine and just going along with or partnered with a masculine woman, there's no direction for masculine energy in this generation. There's nothing causing and instilling. You can cure cancer. You can take us to Mars. You can repurpose water and save the oceans. You can lower the climate or be the world's leading meteorologist or cure fucking COVID, CDC. Like those breakthrough expansion humanity conversations, in my eyes, occur as larger than life, or at least not instilled to the everyday, everyman average. There aren't any rites of passage for the village of planet Earth humanity. This is how we expand and grow and take on. Like if some aliens came through, we'd be so separated and confused and like pulling each other apart. We wouldn't survive for shit. Like there is no unity or village.
Denoting the fact that the masculine, there's some difference in mom saying such and such and dad saying such and such, and how that person's life pans out. Mm-hmm. So in that, I'm sure there are women out there who say, well, I'm encouraging the shit out of my son, right? So what do you think the difference is when the dad's like, you can be anything you want, son, and mom's saying it, and why do you think that's playing out?
That is so interesting. It, in my eyes, occurs from, it's a byproduct of society. The influence of norms, just what would be expected. So like get past the comforting conversations because it always comes back to the basics. Mm-hmm. Let some zombie apocalypse, let some bombs over Baghdad, some wars coming to our lands. Nobody gives a fuck about how you feel, what you think about yourself. Can you lift some shit, do some shit, shoot some shit, kill some shit? Like, is there raw masculine there? Going to its core, the woman, it's not that you're not capable. You're not designed for that. You're not genetically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. And this comes to, so I'd say the root cause of that is the misunderstanding of the energies. If society, while there is a requirement of a quality human being, same capacity, that doesn't mean it's the strength. That doesn't mean it's the same. That doesn't mean it's designed that way. So that's the root cause. The symptom comes to, like you're saying, we can have these, well, here we are now, and some women are more masculine, in their masculine, or operating in their masculine, or even, not even to say it's a product of that, right? Widowed, or just left for whatever reason. The statistics we're talking about, single mother household, that really perfect. That womb, if you created those children as the woman, that is tied into, at its core, there's a feminine embracing and flowing. You had to receive a seed. Masculine was required, and that was not your set. You didn't have that. Talk to God about it. At that level, that's what's at the foundation. Building on top of that, you can do the things. You can, and you'll see it in their face, you'll see it in their energy, even how they raise the children is going to show up, and it is still it's a mutated masculine expression. Okay. It's just not what's raw there. No different than looking at, because that's the inquiry to me is, how does that work, having a man flow in his feminine? It can happen. It can be workable. When some shit goes down, I think they're going to be the first team to lose. Like, if it was like, who's going to make it?
Because she's going to go. He's going to go.
At that core.
Right? No, what'll probably happen is he would try and step into a masculine role and she would not follow.
Because the respect is
right.
Exactly. As a team, their dynamic is already going to be too flawed because they're not using their tools that they're best designed and equipped for. Why does all that happen? Because that lack of the actual true masculine. Yeah. The solution is not mutating. Like in certain circumstances, by whatever society, yes, if a woman's widowed, she can fill the role. She can hold that down, and there is a gap. Boys would not be taught. She can't instill that because that was never truly in her. She can, and that is where I say a product of society, because by the time it's mother, that's maturity. You have already been raised as a girl to some degree. And while that changes today in society, there's still not clarity because there's no foundation to it. It's all mixed up. It's all ending into other problems and challenges by just stepping into those. It's all fucking unknown. We're stepping into, that's not what's gotten us to this point when it was lions and tigers and bears. So now it's a whole new fucking paradigm. Right. Well, why doesn't it work the same? Because it doesn't have thousands of years of evolution. It's not what was by design. It's making up some shit. As everything continues to advance, if we don't fucking melt the planet type shit, you can get to a point where AI, robots, and the masculine structure of society can make it absolutely no different. And in that, it would also be a losing of something, is what I see. Because we're even still talking about it. It's an overall missing. It doesn't create expansion. It creates comforts inside of the womb. Whether it's AI, whether it's machines, whether it's the man, larger man, there is an absence. It's still a womb. It's still contained. Step outside of it, it gets fucking destroyed by any challenge. So it's undeniable. Really good because it comes back full circle. The core of the conversation, as I see it, the work and what I'm so passionate about is divine masculine feminine energy. If we have an understanding of the energy, our relationships, our battles, our challenges, our struggles become so much clearer because we're now using tools how they're designed. There is a falling out in the pursuit of equality. Yes, everyone's human. Everyone's got the same capacity. That doesn't mean we're fucking made or built to do that. And switching it up or losing sight of these tools work this way, these tools work that way. Oh shit, now it's a dance. And there's two parts because everything's balancing. You take it out of balance, you bring the confusion, you've got all the symptoms that everybody's trying to figure out or we're just dealing with. But truly we know if the real, which even speaks to it, right? The bigger real life challenges, the storms, the weather, what's happening on the larger global scale. That's a context of there's not a masculine, responsible lead, how we care, how we expand our planet to cover and protect that feminine. Our home is fucking upside down and tearing itself apart